Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be two-parter. First part is a preview of Celtic's away from home game at Hibs tomorrow lunchtime live on TV, and the second part of video will be a wee quick profile of Jeffrey Schlupp, Ghanaian international, currently playing for Crystal Palace, thought to be on Celtic's transfer target list. Now, first part of the video, as I said, is preview of Celtic's game against Hibs tomorrow. That's a game I think Celtic are going to comfortably win 3 or 4-0, and I'm going to go for a 4-0 win in that case. It would appear that Idah is fit for the game, although I suspect he'll be on the bench. Mike Nawrocki is back in training, but I think far too soon to see him back into the matchday squad. In terms of my predicted lineup for tomorrow, we're going to go for Schmeichel in goals. At right back, Alistair Johnston, who should be fully fit and able to play the whole game, rather than the 60 minutes or so he managed last week against Kilmarnock. Central defence will be Cameron Carter-Vickers and Liam Scales, and Greg Taylor again at left back. In the number 6 role, Callum McGregor. Number 8 role, slightly more advanced, will be Rio Hatate and Matt O'Reilly on the left side of the midfield and in more of an attacking midfield role. Going to go for Kuhn on the right and Forrest on the left again. I think had Dijsselmaida been fully fit, he would have started on the left, but with him just back to fitness, I think we'll go with Forrest again on the left, with Palma and Dijsselmaida likely coming on for the last half hour or so of the game, and up front again Kyogo, our only fit, experienced striker, although as I have said in previous videos, players such as Kuhn, Palma, Yang, Forrest, Mikey Johnston, Dijsselmaida can all play through the middle as strikers if required to give Kyogo a rest, or if he does unfortunately get injured in the game against Hibs. Now, just looking at some stats for Celtic against Hibs games. In the last 10 Celtic Hibs games, Celtic have 7 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 defeat. In the last 21 games between Celtic and Hibs, Celtic have 13 wins, 7 draws, and 1 loss. That loss being the 4-2 defeat towards the end of the 22-23 season. Disappointing game. Dijsselmaida got sent off. Celtic didn't really look like they turned up for that game. Felt like the players and Ange Postecoglou all had their eyes off the ball, with the title having been won, and they were all kind of waiting for the cup final, which we won against Inverness, Cali Thistle, and that was what proved to be Ange's last game as Celtic manager. And Hibs Easter Road is not the best away ground for Celtic over the last 15 games at Easter Road. Celtic have 4 wins, 8 draws, and 3 losses. However, our last game against Hibs was in February. That was the game in which Adam Idah scored 2 penalties, including the one just around the 90th minute. And I'm quite certain we'll see a repeat of a victory for Celtic tomorrow. And I'm going for, as I said, a 4-0 win. With it being the weekend, there's not been any further progress with any deals in and out, so there's not been any confirmed progress with the Adam Idah deal, although it's said that he had a rather stormy negative response from the Norwich fans when he came on as a sub in Norwich's 2-0 loss to Oxford earlier today. No further information regarding any bids or negotiations for Matt O'Reilly, and it appears still at this point no team has got close to Celtic's valuation of Matt O'Reilly, so he remains a player for Celtic, and I'm sure he'll be at his best tomorrow against Hibs. However, in the last 24 hours or so, it has appeared that Celtic are targeting Jeffrey Schlupp, 31-year-old Ghanaian international. Schlupp was actually born in Germany but represents Ghana, currently playing for Crystal Palace, having previously played for Leicester, and did have 3 games of experience in the Champions League, and was part of the Leicester team that won the English Premier League under Claudio Ranieri. However, Schlupp had already moved from Leicester to Crystal Palace prior to Brendan Rodgers deserting Celtic and going to manage Leicester for a few seasons. Schlupp, as I said, 31-year-old Ghanaian international, 20 games for Ghana with 1 goal, although hasn't played for Ghana for a good couple of years. Currently listed as a £7 million transfer valuation, although it has been up as high as 12 million a few years ago. He's able to cover left-sided midfield, central midfield, left wing, and left back, which may be the role that Celtic are primarily looking at him coming in to fill, but certainly does appear to be a very good utility player. More recently out on the left of midfield or even out left wide, but he has played in his time at Leicester and at Crystal Palace 74 times as a left back, and so clearly is an experienced player in that position. Just having a wee look at his career stats for Crystal Palace: 231 games, 19 goals, 15 assists. With Leicester, 150 games, 15 goals, 9 assists. And so over his whole career as a professional in first team football, 391 games, 40 goals, 25 assists. Last season, played 33 times for Crystal Palace, 20 times as a starter, 13 times as a sub, and last season, 2 goals, 3 assists, with a season average rating of 6.75 out of 10. Now, looking at his various different midfield, attacking, and defensive stats for that season with Crystal Palace that ended in May, he has very good passing ratings for short and medium passes. However, very poor ratings for long passes and crosses, which is slightly concerning if we were going to be playing him wide on the left or as an attacking left-sided fullback. And his defensive stats for tackles, interceptions, clearances are also rather poor, although I suspect that was because he was largely playing as a midfielder and out wide on the left rather than playing at left back last season for Crystal Palace. I've had a good look through the internet and YouTube and various other sites, and there are no up-to-date highlight reels, scouting reels for Schlupp. There are quite a number of short highlight videos on YouTube of him scoring goals for Crystal Palace and playing in games for Crystal Palace, but no actual dedicated scouting reel or highlight reel, just wee clips which have copyright of the English Premier League or Leicester and Crystal Palace. And so I haven't included those in today's video, as copyright problems, copyright violations can cause the channel to shut down, and we don't want that. I have to say that I'm not the most enthusiastic regarding Schlupp coming to Celtic. His versatility is clearly a big factor, which would be helpful for Celtic. He is clearly experienced, which obviously would be a good factor for Celtic. He covers left back. He's 3 inches taller than Greg Taylor, and is quite a pacey player, and so could well be a good option at left back. He's got Champions League experience, he's got international experience, and so there are many positives to him. It does appear recently he's been primarily playing left midfield and left out wide, left wing, and I'm not convinced that Celtic need another player in that position. However, if Rodgers is looking at him being a left-sided wing back, left-sided fullback, with the ability to play central midfield, left wing, and even defensive midfield in his skill set, then he may be worth a punt, although I don't think we should be spending £7 million plus on a player who is worth the punt. And also, given the fact he's moving from the English Premier League, it may be that his wage demands are well out with Celtic's normal wage structure, and there has been mention of him being on £60,000-70,000 a week currently at Crystal Palace, which would be quite considerably more than the highest paid players at Celtic, such as Kyogo, CCV, and Callum McGregor, our best paid player. So, would be great to see what you feel yourself regarding Schlupp coming to Celtic. Are you a wee bit lukewarm, undecided regarding Schlupp, or do you think he is actually a good signing for Celtic if he's willing to come to Scotland, or do you think Celtic should just forget about Schlupp and move on to a younger option? Talking about younger options at left back, it would now appear that Hugo Bueno of Wolves is going to be playing for Feyenoord on loan for the whole of the 24-25 season. The deal is thought to be a simple loan with no purchase option at the end, and doesn't seem the best deal for Feyenoord, although it does appear a very good deal for Wolves in that it gives their left back regular first team games and experience of playing in the Champions League potentially as well. So it does look like Hugo Bueno is off the Celtic wish list, Celtic target list, as he is thought to be signing for Feyenoord on loan for a season. So just to finish off, quick request if you could, if you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed as yet, please do consider clicking that subscriber button. Keep the numbers pushing up towards 900, that would be brilliant. Do feel free to click that like button if you like the video, and as always, do pop your comments into the comment section regarding the Hibs game tomorrow and what you feel are the merits of signing Jeffrey Schlupp from Crystal Palace. And so until the post-match review of the Hibs game, goodbye and hail, hail.